there's so much potential. There is so much potential. Like, so adorable. Oh, shit. Hey, how's it going? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Gabby. Today we're going to be starting on a reading vlog that I'm very excited about. This reading vlog didn't exactly go to plan because this was originally going to be like my whole Christmas reading vlog. Like everything was going to be Christmas themed, but it didn't exactly go to plan, but I still did get to some Christmassy books within this reading vlog. Like for example, in this reading vlog, I read the new Peter Swanson book that's called The Christmas Guest. This one is a thriller novella that I've just been very excited about. The idea of a thriller novella is really cool to me. I've never read anything like that before because most of the novellas that I read are in like the horror genre or like other genres. So this is my first experience with a thriller novella, and it is a holiday themed novella. I also do end up reading the book The Mistletoe Motive by Chloe Leese. This one is a holiday Christmas romance. This book is described as a slow burn enemies to lovers holiday romance, perfect for fans of The Hating Game and You've Got Mail. And this one's actually more of a novella length as well because this one's only about 180 pages. Also in this video, I decided to read Legends and Lattes, which this is a cozy fantasy book that is, yes, very outside of my comfort zone. I don't typically read cozy fantasy books, but I actually ended up adding this one to my TBR this month because in my TBR video, I pulled a prompt out of my Patreon prompt jar that was a prompt to read something with like food in the title, and I thought Lattes could count for that, and this is a book that I've had on my TBR for such a long time. So I'm so glad I was finally able to get around to this, especially because it is something that's a little bit outside of my comfort zone. I wasn't sure how I'd feel about it, but I'm excited to get to share my experience of this book with you in this vlog. And then the fourth and final book that I read during this vlog was Do Your Worst by Rosie Danan, which this is another romance book that also involves kind of like a supernatural element to it, because in this book we're following this character named Riley Rhodes, and she gets hired to go to this castle that's in Scotland, and she's hired to break the curse that's on this castle. And then her love interest is this guy named Clark Edgware, who is a disgraced archaeologist, and this one kind of turns into an enemies to lovers kind of situation because he tries to get her fired from her job, and that's one of their first interactions. So this is another romance that I ended up reading during this vlog. And even though this vlog didn't go exactly to plan because there were other Christmassy type of books that I was planning on reading for this vlog that I ended up DNFing almost all of them, I really still love the way that this vlog turned out. I feel like I included a lot of like cozy fun little things that I did in December, as well as like a trip that I just took with my friend Brittany. We went down to Redmond and we stayed at this really fancy hotel, so all of that is included in this vlog as well, and it's just a really fun time. So before we do jump into the vlog, I want to thank today's video sponsor, which is a new sponsor on this channel, and the sponsor is Bellway, because it's no secret that this time of year can bring some unhealthy food choices, especially around the holidays, and that can lead to an unhappy gut. And one of the best ways to care for your digestive health is by maintaining your fiber intake, and fiber can help you detox from all of those holiday meals without making you run to the bathroom. And fiber can relieve and prevent bloating and gas and indigestion and any other uncomfortable symptoms related to your gut. I know for me specifically, like as I've gotten older, my gut health has become more and more of a priority for me because I'm definitely not able to digest food the way that I used to when I was a little bit younger. And the super fiber that's in Bellway keeps you full for a longer time after you eat. So this means that you can cut down on the cravings you might have throughout the day. You can also cut down on calories if you're trying to watch your calorie intake. Bellway is an organic, all-natural, vegan, keto, paleo-friendly, and gluten-free fiber supplement that contains 0 sugar. And Bellway has such fibers as fiber with fruit, greens, protein, collagen, and it's nice because if you're always traveling or you're always on the go, they do have options for capsules and gummies as well. The two that I ended up trying include the raspberry lemon flavor as well as the lemon and lime flavor, and I've been really enjoying both of these. I think my preference is for the raspberry lemon because the flavor on this one tastes very natural to me and it tastes so good. I've always been a little bit skeptical when it comes to trying different supplements like this because I never know if I'm gonna like the flavor on them or if they're really gonna be my thing or make a big difference, but I genuinely really do like the flavor on this one, and even though I've only been using it for a short time, I've already noticed quite a difference. So you can go ahead and click the link down below and use my code Gabby25 to get 25% off your first order with Bellway. Thank you so much to Bellway for sponsoring today's video, and now let me send you back about a week ago to when this vlog started. Hello, good morning, what's up? So this morning I've just been like out and about, you know, running some errands. I had to get like my license registration updated. I had to go to the library and like pick up some holds and stuff. And it is one of the coldest days we've had here in Washington so far this year. Oh my gosh. I mean, right now it's about like 33 degrees, but it is about like 11 a.m. in the morning. Like it's freezing. And last night I think it got down to like 27 degrees. So it's one of the coldest, you know, days and nights that we've had in a while. So I bundled up with like my thick sweater. But I did want to let you know that last night I read The Christmas Guest by Peter Swanson. I actually listened to this whole thing on audio because this is a thriller novella and the audiobook is only 3 hours long. I think the actual novella itself is about like 100-ish pages, but this is one that I was pretty excited about, you know, because I don't think I've ever read a Christmas thriller novella before. This was a whole new experience for me, and I think just in general, like thriller novellas, like the concept of it, I'm here for it. I love it. I want more thriller novellas because I ended up really enjoying this one. You know, Peter Swanson can be such a hit or miss author for me, so I wasn't really sure how I was gonna feel about this one. We're following this protagonist named Ashley, and she's an American who is studying abroad. She's studying in London for a while, and so during Christmas time, she's not sure if she's going to be going back home for the holidays, and so one of her friends in London invites her to go to her family's home for Christmas. She's this American girl who doesn't really have any family left. Like, she kind of talks about how her family has died recently and she just doesn't have any real reason to go back home. So she decides to go out with her friends in London and go back to their family home, but then some like weird things start happening when she's like staying at their family home, and this just had such great atmosphere. Like the holiday, like Christmas atmosphere was very strong in this book. There was even scenes with like a questionable kind of creepy Santa, which I really loved that. Or she just felt like somebody was following them like through the woods that kind of had like a Santa costume on. Like, it was creepy. I just really liked the atmosphere. I thought there was actually like a decent plot twist that kind of surprised me. Like, I thought for sure a novella length size book, I was like, is it really going to be able to like surprise me and be twisty? But no, it was. So I love the idea of a thriller novella. I kind of hope that Peter Swanson continues to write these. I think that would be super cool. Like, I could totally see Peter Swanson making a whole like holiday series of like thriller novellas. Like, he should write one that takes place on like every holiday. Like, wouldn't that be so cool? I would so be more than down to read a Halloween thriller novella, or even like New Year's Eve or like Thanksgiving. Like, there's so much potential. There is so much potential there. So I was pretty surprised by it. I had a really great time. I think I'm probably gonna give this one around 4 stars. Like, I don't think it was perfect, but it was still really interesting, and I got a lot more invested than I thought that I would for such a short book. Like, that was a really great time. Hello, how's it going? I wanted to take a second to update you because I have started reading Legends and Lattes, which, you know, this is a cozy fantasy book. It is 100% outside of my comfort zone with what I typically read. I don't know if I've ever, to be honest, read a cozy fantasy book, so this is completely different for me. But in this book, I am about 55 pages in. I just hit chapter 6. And in this story, our protagonist that we're following is an orc, which I think are creatures like similar to these on the front cover here. But we're following this orc and her name is Viv, and it says she's hanging up her sword for the last time and she's opening the first ever coffee shop in the city of Thune. And literally, so far, the first 5 chapters of this book have just been like the sweetest, like most wholesome stuff about her just like opening up this little coffee shop in the town. And it's so cute because a lot of the like creatures in the town are like, what is coffee? I've never had coffee before. And it's just like so adorable. So cute because in chapter 5, she puts a help wanted sign in the window and this character comes in and her name is Tandri. And from my understanding, this character is a succubus, which I had to Google like what the heck that even means, but apparently she's like a female demon of some kind. I'm not totally sure, but already like right in chapter 5, they had such cute like banter with each other kind of back and forth, and I was kind of like, wait a second, does this book involve romance between these two like female characters? Like, what is going on here? So I'm kind of here for this. It's unexpected for me. You know, like I really wasn't sure how I was gonna feel about a book like Legends and Lattes. Like, this is not something I would typically pick up. I've just heard such great things about this book since it's been published, and I just got a little bit curious to see if it would be my thing. I'm always always willing to try new things. And so far it's going really well. Like, I definitely understand the cozy elements. It's so cozy. It's kind of like a comfort read right now. Even though it's something that's like outside of my comfort zone, it feels very comforting to be reading this. I don't know, it kind of reminds me of like the feeling I get when I like play a video game or something. I don't know why it's giving me like that same feeling of like, this is a safe zone, this is like a comforting thing. It's kind of hard to explain the feeling that I have with this, to be honest. Like, I don't know if I've ever felt this way about a book before, but it's just so cute. So I don't want to hype myself too much because, you know, I'm only 55 pages in. Like, it's still very early. I think tonight I might try to read for like 1 more hour. I mean, it's already about 10:30 at night right now, so I don't think I'm gonna stay up too late tonight. I mean, I was doing reading sprints like all day earlier today on Patreon, but I had to finish editing the last reading vlog that I just posted, so I was editing the entire time, and then I was just thinking about this book because I haven't read it since last night, and I was just like, damn, like I really want to read Legends and Lattes. So I think that's gonna be the plan, is that I'm gonna read a little bit more tonight and I'll update you tomorrow with my thoughts. I'm really looking forward to tomorrow because me and my sister and my dad are all gonna be going out to lunch together. We're gonna be going to this restaurant that we've never gone to before, and it's called Little Tokyo. It's supposed to be like a really cute little like Japanese food spot, and I'm really looking forward to trying it. It's on my list of you know, like Japanese or ramen places that I've been inspired to try ever since coming home from Japan. I have a whole list, and so I'm so excited I'll get to check off another restaurant on the list. I wanted to update because I just got home a few hours ago from going out to lunch with my sister and my dad. It was really good. We got some gyozas, I got some chicken yakisoba. It was really delicious. My dad actually really loved the sushi there. You know, my dad's a big sushi person, me and my sister not as much. I mean, my sister likes sushi a little bit more than I do, but it was a really great time. And then after I got home, I just finished listening to the audiobook for Legends and Lattes, and this book, I enjoyed it more than I was expecting to. Like, I don't think that this is gonna end up being a new favorite for me. Right now I'm debating for my rating whether I want to rate this somewhere between like 3 or 3.5 stars. And I'm not gonna lie, I started to like lose interest in like the second half of this book just a little bit, just because I didn't really care about where the story was going plot-wise. I don't know, I just really liked it though, because I liked just following these characters as they were like trying to open a coffee shop. I don't know, there was just something so cozy and like comforting about following these characters as they were like doing all of these things to open the coffee shop. It was just so cute and so wholesome, and it had really great characters, especially the character Thimble. Like, what a freaking icon, like so cute. And I also feel like with reading this book, like I was mainly reading this at night for the most part, and then I was reading it a little bit this afternoon, but every time I picked up this book, I was like, I need a latte. Like, I want coffee so badly. Just because the way that this book talks about coffee, it's almost like you can smell it, you know? Like, and I love books like this that kind of like take place in a coffee shop. Like, it's just so fun for the setting. I don't know why, you know, when I said earlier that this like reminds me of like playing a video game or something, it's almost like a mix of something kind of like Animal Crossing that is just kind of cozy. Also kind of reminded me of that game Diner Dash for some reason, because it's so focused on like the actual cafe itself and like serving the customers and like trying to get more customers. I don't know why, I just found that to be so cozy and comforting to read about. Like, I just really enjoyed the cafe setting in this. I think the book got a little bit more fantasy towards the end, and I think that's why I started to like lose interest a little bit, because I was like, I'm just here for the coffee shop and for the vibes. The fantasy elements do tend to bore me a little bit, but I'd also like, I probably would still read another book from this author or this series, like if this book does have a series. I wasn't too sure, because at the very end of this book, there was this little story in the back called Pages to Fill, and it said this is a Legends and Lattes story, so that actually took up most of the back of this book. Like, the actual book itself is only 257 pages, and then this last little section is a short story that takes place in the same world and follows the same characters. So like, I don't know, but I could have sworn I just saw this book. I think it just had a sequel come out, right? Because I thought I saw it at the Goodreads Choice Awards this year, so maybe I'll have to look into it. I'm not entirely sure if I'll read the sequel or the prequel or whatever it is that just came out, but I'm so glad that I finally read it because it's like now I get the hype. I've read a cozy fantasy. I know what it's all about, and I enjoyed it. I think I enjoy the idea of cozy fantasy more than I enjoy the idea of cozy horror, because cozy horror just doesn't really work for me, and I think it's because of my expectations with the horror genre and like what I'm looking for when I read a horror book, as opposed to like when I'm reading a fantasy book, like I could care less about like action and high stakes and all that because I'm just not interested in fantasy most of the time. So maybe cozy fantasy would be the genre that I'd be more intrigued by. I don't know, I feel like I learned a lot about myself with this reading experience, so like that's pretty cool. I'm so excited because I just got some exciting things in the mail that I wanted to show you. Like, first thing, the Winterween merch. Like, are you kidding me? I'm so glad I decided to get it on a white shirt because I feel like you can really see the like purple smoke or like the purple haze. I just think it looks so cool. So I love how this one turned out. I've been waiting on this one. I got the ghost one a lot earlier than I got that one in the mail. And then I also just got my book of the month box for the month of December because yes, I do work with book of the month sometimes, but right now I'm working with them like every other month. So for the months in between, I do tend to buy my own books from book of the month because I am a customer of book of the month. I love them so much. Oh my gosh, how cute! There's this little seasons readings. Oh my gosh, this is like a bunch of stickers. How cute is that? Book of the month, what the heck? Okay, the first book that I got, my pick for the month of December, No One Can Know by Kate Alice Marshall. Oh my gosh, I am so excited for this book. Like, you have no idea. I'm so hyped. And then I also ended up getting Bright Young Women by Jessica Knoll because this is actually my January book troop pick. And then I also decided to add on Hello Beautiful because this is one that I've been hearing about all year long. Everybody just seems to be really raving about this book. It sounds like it could be something I would like, and I've really been in a mood recently for like literary fiction type of books like this, so I just thought I would add this on. I love this cover. I love how beautiful this book is. Look at that color. Oh, so I'm so excited for these book of the month picks. Let's go. God, book of the month delivery day is really one of the best days of the month, isn't it? All right, so I think tonight, my sister and I are probably gonna make a dinner. I think we still have tacos from HelloFresh that I think we're gonna make tonight, which I'm really looking forward to. And then hopefully I can get started on one of the next books that I wanna read for this reading vlog.
We keep on walking through fire, but we always get what's required. So many things we desire, but I only bring you a lighter so we can.
Hello. I wanted to do a quick update because I have started on Do Your Worst. Last night I started this on audio and I got about 116 pages in. I just hit chapter 11, and so far this one is going okay. I don't really know how I feel about this so far. We're following this protagonist. Her name is Riley Rhodes, which, by the way, I love the name Riley Rhodes. Like, how cute is that? I love when character names have like really cute and cheesy like alliteration in the name. It's just so cute. It's my favorite. And the love interest in this book, his name is Clark Edgeware. These characters have some pretty iconic names, like I'm not gonna lie, like those are really cool names. But anyways, so Riley is like really big into the supernatural and her job is actually a curse breaker. Like she goes to different places that have curses on them and she helps them break the curse, which I think is really interesting. I don't think I've ever read any book I think that follows somebody with this kind of profession, so I think it's very interesting. It's really exciting because her next job is actually going to be taking her to a castle that's in Scotland. So like the vibes in this book in terms of like location are very great. Like I'm loving the Scottish vibes in this book. I think it's so much fun, and like the castle, like the way it's described is really cool. There's quickly tension between these two because right away like they meet at a bar one night. Like as soon as she's having one of her first nights in Scotland, they meet in a bar. They're like instantly attracted to each other and then they start making out, but then something happens where like they get drawn apart and they aren't able to see each other that night. And so they're like, she's like, don't worry, I'll be in Scotland for a while and we can meet up. But then shortly after that, they they find out that he has been trying to get her fired from this job because he's an archaeologist himself, and so he has like work that he needs to do with this castle, and he thinks that she's getting in the way of what he's trying to do, so he's been trying to get her fired, not really knowing that she's the one that's gonna be doing this job. And so they have this immediate kind of like hate to love, you know, banter, because she's like, how dare you, like, you think you're up on your high horse and you don't believe in this shit, and he's like saying that he doesn't really believe in the idea of like a curse breaker, you know? And I kind of do like relate to this guy a little bit. Like, he said he's a Capricorn right at the beginning, and I was like, oh shit, because I'm also a Capricorn, so we like connect there for sure. And I can be a little bit skeptical when it comes to these kinds of things as well. Like when you have a profession where you're a curse breaker, I just think it's really interesting. I just don't know if I fully buy into it. But so far I feel like this book has been pretty fun. I don't know, like I can't decide. I'm constantly torn between feeling like the romance is cute and then feeling like it's so cheesy and cringe. Like there was literally a scene that I just read where she's like, yeah, like I need to prove to him that I'm not attracted to him, so I'm gonna give you a massage to prove that it doesn't bother me. And he's like, all right, well, I'm gonna let you give me a massage to prove that it doesn't bother me either. And like it's just a tad cringe. Like I could have done without the like massage scene, but otherwise like I do think they have cute banter. I can tell that this romance is gonna be a little bit more like raunchy and provocative than like the typical romances that I pick up, which is fine, you know. Like this is the same author as The Roommate, which was one of my favorite romance books that I've read, which is why I'm excited to read this one. But I also know that The Roommate was also a little bit more like provocative and like juicy and spicy than the typical romances that I read, so I went into this knowing that that was probably going to be the case. But so far it's been cute. I'm having a good time. I don't see myself rating this like super high. Like I don't think this one is going to end up being a new favorite for me like The Roommate, just because of the plot itself isn't the most interesting thing to me, but I'm having a fun time listening to this on audio so far, so I think I'm going to continue with it. I'm really excited because tonight I'm actually going to have my Patreon movie live show where we're going to be watching that new movie that just went up on Netflix, the movie Leave the World Behind, which I'm very excited about because even though I wasn't the biggest fan of that book, I always thought that that book would make a really good movie, so I'm really excited to see it get adapted. And today has been such an exciting day because I just had a really big meeting with Trova Trip, and we actually launched my trip early for Patreon today, and then next week, like by the time you see this video, my Trova Trip will be active and live and you can start booking it. And like, holy shit, I'm still trying to mentally process the fact that I'm going to be going to Italy in October next year and potentially meeting some of you and traveling with you. Like, it's absolutely insane. So again, my Trova Trip link will be down below if you want to see all of the information, like all of the itinerary, all of the dates and all of that. Oh my gosh, I'm still just like beside myself even thinking about it. Like, what? And so that was a very exciting morning. And then I just went to the library to pick up some library holds. I just had some manga that I had on hold there. The first one that I picked up is In the Clear Moonlit Dusk, and this is volume 1. I recently heard about this, I think from Jordaline. On Jordaline's channel, she was talking about this series and I thought it looked interesting, so my library had it, so I was like, why not? And then also there's this series called Nana, and I've heard that this is a really beloved manga series in the manga world. One of my friends, Jess, actually reached out and recommended this book series to me specifically and said she thinks I would like it. So I saw that my library had a few volumes available, so I just decided to go for it because why not? I also just went out and checked the mail and I noticed that I had a few packages. One of them I think I definitely know what it is because I ordered it myself a few nights ago, and the other I'm not too sure what it is. So let's open this first one. Okay, I know what this is. This is so exciting. This is so soft. Okay, so I am a basic bitch and I am very easily influenced by other people. And the other day I was watching Emma Chamberlain posted this video that was talking about like having a turtleneck, like this black turtleneck that's like her favorite outfit piece that she wears with everything. And I thought to myself like, oh my god, like I don't even have a black turtleneck. And I'm like, that's so true. Like a black turtleneck can go under literally every shirt in like the wintertime because it gets so cold here. So I went ahead and I bought a black turtleneck, but this one's like one of those like nice turtlenecks. It's like a mock turtleneck, so it doesn't go up too high, but I think it's gonna be so nice. And this one is so soft, so like that is very exciting. I'm really loving this mock turtleneck moment. I think I'm gonna change into this and put one of my other shirts over it for the movie night tonight. How cool would that be? Wow, that's exciting. That came very fast. Okay, and then this other one is an Amazon that I don't think I recognize. Oh my gosh. It's Fangirl. My gosh, who sent this? Oh my gosh, Merry Christmas. I hope you enjoy, from Lee Smith. Are you kidding me? Oh my gosh, thank you so much, Lee. Are you serious? Ugh. This makes me so happy because I was really hoping that I would get to read the 3rd volume of Fangirl before the end of the year. Because I was just thinking in my head, like, I have the first 2. I was kind of like thinking maybe I should reread these first 2 before I read the 3rd. But like, if you have no idea what these are, one of my favorite books of all time, Fangirl by Rainbow Rowell, they've recently been turning it into a manga series. And so these are basically the story of Fangirl, but it's told in like a manga format. And I'm obsessed with these. Like, I love this series so much. I'm so excited to read this 3rd one. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much to Lee. Seriously, thank you so much. This is so kind.
I don't wanna love you. I don't wanna hurt you anymore. Oh.
Hi! So last night we watched Leave the World Behind with my Patreon and it was so freaking good. Like, I can't even believe it because I wasn't the biggest fan of the book, but that movie? Are you kidding me? Like, I kind of immediately want to rewatch it because of how freaking good that movie was. Like, I'm so shocked. It's probably like one of my top favorite movies that I've seen this year. This morning, I've had quite a bit of a drive. I had like an hour-and-a-half drive this morning because I'm driving down south to go and visit my friend Brittany. We're gonna be celebrating her birthday this weekend. And so literally while I was on the drive down here, I've been listening to the audiobook for Do Your Worst the entire drive, and I actually just finished it. And I'm not gonna lie, some of this audiobook was definitely really cheesy. Like, some elements of the curse and like, you know, the magical fantasy kind of elements of the story were a little bit cheesy for me at times, but I will say that this author is actually really good at writing like tension, and the steamy scenes were like really steamy. I don't know, maybe I'm just more in the mood for romance this week, and that's why this one ended up working for me more than I thought that it would. But I think I'm probably gonna give it like 3.5 stars. I actually enjoyed it a lot more than I thought that I would. I mean, some parts were cheesy, like I said, but the tension between the characters was actually really interesting and kept me engaged the whole time. Like, the entire time I was driving, I was like so invested in the audiobook that I was listening to, so I think that's a really good sign. Dude, today while I was driving down here, oh my god, it's been raining so hard, like so aggressively the entire drive. I had my windshield wipers going as fast as they could basically the entire time I was driving down here. It was kind of sketch a little bit, so hopefully the weather just like chills out because I'm picking up Brittany from her house now. We still have quite a bit of a drive. We're going down to a town called Redmond in Washington that we really like, and we're gonna be staying the night at this really cool hotel that we've always wanted to stay at. So it should be a really fun Saturday night. I think it's gonna be a great time. Look at her. Archer Hotel. It's so cute. We made it. We're dark. Why are we dark? There we go. We made it. It's so cute. This is oh my god, look at this. Ooh. Oh my god, look at the Christmas tree. We made it. Share tea. It'll be my first ever boba experience. Hopefully. That whole wrap. Not them playing August D like as soon as you walk in here. It's Destiny. Yep. Yours is so hard. Like the strawberry?
Is this the color of my soul?
Oh.
It's very black tea-y.
Yeah.
It's very, okay.
It's too strong? Okay. This is coffee milk tea. I didn't get a boba.
They were shooting up.
There you go.
Did you get it or did you let it drop?
I got it. This is so weird. I don't know how to describe it. It's like, it's almost like fishy.
Oh my god, ew.
Like, just the texture.
Oh, like caviar? Like the,
Yeah. Like it's slimy. It's interesting. Okay, we got a separate second one. Oh. Whoa. There was so many things going up your straw. That one's good.
Oh my god, that's really good. Hold
What
up.
does it taste like? Like chocolate?
Like a cookie.
I just wanted to film a quick update because I just got home from a really nice weekend with my friend Brittany. We stayed at this Archer Hotel, which is a hotel that we've always wanted to stay at because we just thought it looked so beautiful. And the hotel ended up being really nice. I think the biggest downside though to that hotel was the fact that we were really hoping to like watch the BTS concert like on the TV in the hotel room, but the hotel TV was like so outdated that it didn't even have any apps on the TV. Like it was just one of those TVs where they just have like a few channels available to watch. So we were pretty surprised by that for like such a nice fancy hotel, the fact that the TV was like so outdated. So like that was a little bit of a bummer, but otherwise it was such a fun weekend. We went to this ramen spot and I ended up having some of the best ramen that I've had since getting home from Japan. It was so incredible. I definitely want to go back there at some point. And then we also did go to this boba tea spot. I've been wanting to try it for a while, but I've never really been a big tea person. And so we ended up trying this one. I got this one that was like a coffee milk tea, and then Brittany ended up getting this one that was like a strawberry lemonade black tea kind of thing. And we both ended up not really liking those. But then we did get this one that was just like, I think it was only some kind of like flavored milk with the boba pearls, and that one was a lot better, but that one didn't have any tea in it at all. And so like, I don't really know if I'm a boba tea person. I feel like I keep trying it again and again, and every time that I get it, I don't tend to like it. So I feel like maybe I'm just like not a boba tea person, which is fine. And then we also got to go back to this breakfast place, which is where we went to last time that we stayed in Redmond. And this place was so good. Oh my God, I've been dreaming about that French toast with all of the fruit and the whipped cream on top of it ever since I had it in August this year. And so I'm so glad we got to go back there. It was just a really great weekend. The exciting thing is that I've started on the Mistletoe Motive. I actually only have read the first chapter, so I'm only 16 pages in. But it's exciting because my friend Brittany actually let me borrow this copy while I was visiting her over the weekend. And so the great thing is that she's kind of like annotated in this book, which has made it so much more fun to read, because I don't know, I don't think I've ever read a book that's been like annotated by one of my friends before I read it. Like I'm usually like the first one reading the book and annotating the book and then passing it on to either like some of my friends or my sister or my mom. So it's been really cool to finally be like experiencing what it's like to read a book that's annotated by one of my friends. And in this story, this is a Christmas romance. We're following this character named Gabriella or Gabby, which is really cool because I don't oftentimes read any books that have characters that are named Gabby. Like that's really cool to share that in common with her. And I'm also finding her to be pretty relatable, not just because of the name thing that we have in common, but also because in that first chapter, she kind of talks about how she's demisexual and like her experience with being demisexual, which is also really cool because I'm asexual. And so like the fact that me and this character Gabby have that in common too is also just really fascinating. But something that I'm loving about this so far is that we're following this character Gabby, and she works in a bookshop, and the bookshop is called Bailey's Bookshop. And the romance is between her and this guy. His name is Jonathan Frost, which like, oh my gosh, Jonathan Frost, like that is such a cliche name, but like it's a Christmas romance novel, so I will accept it. But it's interesting because it's almost set up to be kind of like a hate to love or like enemies to lovers vibes. Like they don't like each other because they're both working at the same bookstore, and they've been trying to like co-manage this bookstore together. I guess they were both like hired into these positions and they didn't really know that they were going to be having to, you know, work together in the bookstore as managers. And so it's been about a year that they've been trying to manage this bookstore together, and that's kind of where the story is taking place now. On the back, I do see that this book is getting compared to The Hating Game as well as You've Got Mail, and I guess that it's being compared to The Hating Game because I think it's going to be a situation where like one of them are going to get a promotion potentially, and then the other one is going to have to like quit or like leave, or like they don't have room on the budget anymore for both of them. So I think it is going to be a situation where they kind of have to go head to head to compete for the same job position thing. I don't really know. I mean, I've only read the first chapter, but so far I'm liking the vibes. I think they have cute tension. I think I'm going to try to read most of this tomorrow because again, since this book is so incredibly short, I feel like I can get through this all within one sitting tomorrow. So that's what I think I'm going to try to do. wanted to update because it is the next afternoon. I've been reading The Mistletoe Motive and I just got to page 72. I'm 7 chapters into the book, and at the end of chapter 6, there was a little bit of like a plot twist. And I feel like because I didn't really read the premise of this book very thoroughly, I feel like there's been a few things in here that I wasn't expecting, and I'm actually really liking this. Like, I'm liking this a lot more than I thought that I would, because typically like Christmas romances, I find that they can be so cringy and cheesy and just like make me want to roll my eyes. But with this one, I'm actually really liking the characters. I mean, this character, Gabby, our protagonist, is so relatable to me for a lot of reasons. I actually just found out on page 19 that she has GERD. She has acid reflux, which is so crazy because I also have GERD. I remember my friend Jan, she actually messaged me last year to let me know that this main character, her name was Gabby, and that she had GERD, and I was like, that is so crazy. Like, what are the chances? But I also feel like in some ways she's not that relatable with her GERD, because sometimes she'll be like, I'm still gonna have this tomato soup, my GERD will be damned. And I'm like, hell no, dude. Like, I don't know, for me personally, tomato and like tomato soup, tomatoes is like one of my biggest triggers when it comes to my acid reflux, so like that could never be me. And also, like, she really loves this like peppermint hot chocolate, which like disgusting. I am not a fan of peppermint with chocolate, and just peppermint in general, like gross. It tastes like toothpaste. I don't like it. But I am really liking the banter between these two. I also realized why this book is getting compared to You've Got Mail, but I'm really liking these characters, and the banter has been really funny so far. It's also been so great to like read a book that's been annotated by my friend Brittany. Her annotations are cracking me up. Oh my gosh. She will like underline and point out every single time the author has to mention his eye color, because apparently he just has the most beautiful pale green eyes, and they're just so evergreen and they look like trees, and he's just so beautiful. So like, it's so funny because she'll like underline that every time it talks about it, and then every time it talks about his scent, of course he smells like pine trees and like clean laundry, and it's just always underlined and squiggled. Ugh, it's just so funny. But it does kind of feel like the hating game. Like, I'm starting to get that comparison a lot more because of the way they're like working in this bookshop together, and because of the way there might be a situation where one of them is going to get the cut at the end of this holiday season, and so they need to do everything in their power to keep their management position, you know, jobs. And it's just really entertaining. I don't know. I also love the fact that our protagonist Gabby, she has these roommates named Eli and June, and I really like the side kind of stories that are happening with her roommates, especially with her roommate Eli. I think he's like a really fun character to have on the side, and I like what's happening with his character. So I don't know, all of that to say, I'm really shocked by how much I'm enjoying this. Like, I'm loving it a lot more than I was expecting to, so I can't wait to finish. I only have about 100 pages left or so. I think right now it's just about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, so I think I'm gonna try to go to the gym before the sun goes down, because the sun's gonna be down in like the next hour. So I really want to go to the gym. Like, usually when I go to the gym, I would listen to an audiobook while I'm walking on the treadmills, but I do think that today I'm probably gonna listen to music instead, because Nicki Minaj just dropped her new album Pink Friday 2 like last week, and I still haven't listened to it. I just wanted to do a quick update because I have finished The Mistletoe Motive. Earlier today, I went to the gym, I listened to the new Nicki Minaj album, and I really liked the album. I wasn't the biggest fan of like every single song, but there were 22 songs on the album, and I saved 10 of them. But I think my top favorites for sure on Nicki Minaj's new album are Nikki Hendrix, and then the song Big Difference. Like, oh my god, I love Big Difference so much. But anyways, after getting home from the gym, I made a quick dinner with my sister, and then it was so cute because me and my sister had a little like reading moment on the couch together. Like, we just put on an ambiance video that was like a winter fireplace ambiance, and we just sat on the couch and read together after dinner, which is something we haven't done in a long time. But my sister just started reading Rock Paper Scissors by Alice Feeney, and so she was reading that, I was reading this, and I was able to finish those last 100 pages while I was just laying down there on the couch. And I have mixed feelings about this one, because while I do think there were some things that I really loved about this book, there were also some things about the plot that bothered me, and it's unfortunate because I can't really talk about the the things that bothered me with this book without getting into spoilery things, but I think overall I really did like the relationship and like the banter between these two. I really liked the chemistry between these two leads. Like I really felt the tension between them and I rooted for them. I also loved Gabby as a main character. I actually found her to be so relatable, not just because of the demisexual thing and the GERD thing, but a lot of her talk about just like things in general. I just found her to be very relatable and I connected with her character a lot. I also did love Jonathan Frost as a love interest, even though some of the things he would do, I was like, oh my gosh, he's clearly one of those men who's like written by a woman. And there was one element of the book that I wasn't the biggest fan of, and that's definitely the like you've got mail comparison. I don't love it. I just don't love how that was resolved or like talked about in the book. Like it just wasn't my favorite thing. And I feel like this is one of those books that just has a very cheesy epilogue. But I mean, in comparison, I'm just glad that I enjoyed this. I'm probably gonna give this like a 3.5 or maybe a 4-star. I'm not really sure like where this one is gonna land for me exactly with my rating, but I'm just glad that I read a Christmas romance and I actually really enjoyed it, because I feel like I have been struggling this month with reading the Christmas books, because this one, for example, Love Light Farms, this was a book that I was originally trying to read for this reading vlog, and I got 98 pages into this one before I decided to call it quits. I just wasn't really feeling it with this one, and I feel like even though this one involves like fake dating, which is like one of my favorite tropes, it's also actually more like friends to lovers, because these two have been friends for like their whole lives and they have to like fake date in order to save the Christmas tree farm or whatever, but it really feels more like friends to lovers than like fake dating. I just wasn't a fan of it. I thought it was so boring. And then A Winter in New York is another kind of like Christmassy romance that I was trying to read this week, and this one I only got 10 pages into before I was just kind of bored. I think I might still try to give this one a shot in the future if I can get my hands on the audiobook, because sometimes when I'm feeling bored when I'm reading the actual, you know, text like this, it helps me push through the boring parts when I have the audiobook. So the fact that I was able to get through this whole thing without any help from the audiobook just goes to show how readable and enjoyable this book was for me. But yeah, I feel like that's a pretty good wrap on this reading vlog. I think I enjoyed all 4 things that I read for this reading vlog actually. Like the Peter Swanson novella that I read at the beginning, A Christmas Thriller, I had a great time with that. I actually would love to read more novella thrillers in the future. I did read quite a bit of romance in this vlog as well, and I enjoyed most of the romance that I read. I've been thinking so much about Legends and Lattes ever since I finished reading it, especially when I was reading about some of the like cozy atmosphere of the bookstore in this book that was being described. It was like reminding me of like the warm feelings that I had while I was reading Legends and Lattes. I'm just kind of surprised that I enjoyed Legends and Lattes as much as I did, because I really wasn't sure if this was gonna be my thing or not, but I'm so glad that I ended up giving this one a shot, because it ended up working out really well and I have very fond memories of reading this book. But overall, I had a really great time with this reading vlog. I hope you did as well. Thank you so much for watching as always, and I will see you very soon with another video. Bye!